Hello, my name is Franklin. After completing high school, I began working at Randy Manufacturing. Having lost my father early, I was brought up solely by my mother, alongside a younger sister and brother. I decided against college to reduce the financial strain on my mother, despite her insistence that I pursue further education. I detest studying, I declared, opting for employment over academia, driven by sheer stubbornness. This decision came after days of my mother urging me to enroll in college. Eventually, she relented, and I secured a position in the sales department at PHS and manufacturing, as recommended by her. Over the years, I absorbed knowledge from my superiors and immersed myself in self-help books, striving for personal growth. 11 years later, I found myself accompanying Nicole, my mentor in the company who was on the verge of leaving her position to get married, to a meeting with a client at Redfield Motors, a company renowned for its leading products worldwide. Alexander, their representative and a seasoned colleague, had been instrumental in my understanding of sales. Edward, as you take over from me, ensure you excel. Nicole, a distinguished saleswoman nearing retirement, advised as I began to assume responsibility for some of her clients. On this particular day, we arrived at Redfield Motors and were escorted to the meeting room. Nicole is getting married, congratulations, was my initial thought, mistakenly believing Randy Manufacturing was jesting by assigning a newcomer straight out of college as their representative. Just kidding, though. You've been diligent, and our rapport has been commendable. It's akin to bidding farewell to my own child, I remarked as the meeting progressed amicably. Edward, right. I look forward to collaborating with you. I have an immediate request for your company. I attentively listened and engaged in the discussion, supported by Nicole's insights. I'll relay this to the office and provide you with a response early next week. That would be wonderful. Will Nicole still be here then? She will remain until the 31st of this month, so please reach out if there's anything you need. I promptly commenced the paperwork for Redfield Motors' request, consulting Nicole and obtaining approval from my boss, Peter. Subsequently, I arranged a meeting with Alexander and made my way to Redfield Motors. What's this? Who are you? I had been informed that the representative was a stunningly beautiful woman, yet here I was, met by a young man. Our company must really be underestimated as a minor contractor, I thought. The man who entered the meeting room was clutching a soda bottle, adorned in a shirt with a goofy pattern, and surprisingly, a tattoo peeked out from under his sleeve. With long blonde hair, he appeared to be about my age. A young man, undoubtedly. I'm Samuel, your new contact, but I'm withdrawing. That's that, he declared before exiting the meeting room. Confused by the sudden turn of events, I waited. About 10 minutes later, Samuel reappeared. Still here, huh? Good for you. I was considering canceling the deal, he stated, his casual dismissal of our usual contact, Alexander, as useless, which led to his reassignment and subsequent injury, threw me off balance. As I began to detail the documentation, Samuel's focus shifted to the cost and delivery time, surprised by the tenfold increase in the proposal. Despite his challenging demeanor, I remained silent, intrigued by his reaction. Let's proceed for now. You handle the contract signing, right? Pick it up tomorrow, he concluded. Despite the uneasy feeling, it appeared I had secured the deal. The following day, I returned to Redfield Motors to retrieve the contract. Wow, you're early. The contract is ready, so take it with you, Samuel remarked. His surprise that I hadn't begun the work yet was evident, yet he seemed to appreciate my reaction to his provocations. As I was leaving, Alexander, now on crutches, reached out to me, sharing his ordeal with manual labor. Later, an internal call from another department alerted me to a payment delay from Redfield Motors, a rare occurrence prompting me to contact Samuel. His response: "What's this? A subcontractor daring to chase the main contractor for payment. You've got guts. Don't worry, though. I just went on vacation, and the processing got delayed. You can wait a couple of days, right? Further highlighted the unconventional dynamic of our interaction as a subcontractor. He unilaterally stated that and hung up. Does the distinction between a main contractor and a subcontractor really matter so much among representatives? I pondered. I believed he should have handled it before his vacation, but I held back my comments. After making the call, the payment was finally confirmed 4 days later. Just as I was about to make another call, the phone rang. "Edward, you have a call. It's Samuel from Redfield Motors." Samuel was on the line, stating, "I just finished the procedure. You should be grateful that a main contractor is personally informing a subcontractor over the phone. Thank you." Similar payment delays became frequent after this incident, yet I endured Samuel's somewhat prickly demeanor on the calls. "You're always so cool, huh? Here's a big opportunity coming up. Did you know about the new safety standards changing early next year? Every company will need this new part to pass inspection." "Yes, several small parts requiring advanced manufacturing." "Right." Subcontractor with quick info, as expected. "So, here's the deal. I'm looking for a company to manufacture these. I've put your company in the running. It's a deal worth over $70 million. You're entering, right? There's a joint briefing tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. in the large conference room on the 3rd floor of Redfield Motors headquarters. All interested subcontractors are to gather, or rather, just come," Samuel explained. "What should we do?" I discussed this significant opportunity Samuel mentioned with my boss, Peter. "I want the part specifications now. We need to hear from the ground crew too. Let's take our engineer and go there on the day." The engineer and I arrived at the large conference room on the 3rd floor of Redfield Motors headquarters at 12:40 p.m. the next day. The headquarters were impressive, with 3 conference rooms along the corridor we passed through. We took our seats 10 minutes early, but no one else showed up. Then the conference room door opened. Expecting another company, I saw Samuel and a few men in work clothes instead. "Let's start then. Today, the guys from the field will explain. You'll get 3 copies of the same document. Share with the person next to you. You guys, explain it clearly so even this dumb subcontractor can understand. It's valuable information from a main contractor, so listen carefully," Samuel announced. "Aren't other companies coming?" I inquired. The response was straightforward. "There's no other subcontractor capable of this, but you didn't invite anyone else. Don't get too cocky just because a main contractor called you up." We listened for about 2 hours to 2 engineers from Redfield Motors and 1 expert from a specialized agency. Can you really make it, being just a subcontractor? Based on our discussions with the engineers, it seemed feasible, but I had a few questions. "If that's okay, go ahead, ask anything." The engineer and I asked several questions. "Is that all? No more questions? Can we end this meeting, subcontractors? Thank you. We now have a clear idea, so we'll take this back and consider it. It's a $75 million annual deal. Don't talk big and then say you can't do it, especially as a subcontractor." I returned to the office and, as planned, held a meeting with the heads of each department. To make this, we'll need to use a patented technology we acquired earlier. We don't have a memorandum of understanding regarding its use with Redfield Motors, so we'll need their signature. Well, we can make a prototype in 4 days, easier than I thought. I checked with each department and contacted Samuel the next day to make an appointment and visit. "Let me guess, you are here to decline the $75 million deal, subcontractor." I had come to Redfield Motors' meeting room with the engineer. It was a challenging request, but our engineers managed to shape it. "Made the sample, did you? How is it?" I handed the sample received from Samuel to the head of Redfield Motors' technical department. The department had started measuring the sample from every angle. "The size and shape are perfect. Please allow us to perform a functionality check. We have our engineer here, so we'd definitely like you to see it. Take them with you and do it quickly. Feel free to use a room." The department had left the meeting room with our engineer to perform the field verification. If the sample works out, we'll proceed as planned. But what about the price and delivery schedule? Depending on the sample. That's the intention, right? Those guys are taking their time, aren't they? The head of Redfield Motors technical department and our engineer returned. The sample passed, despite being from a subcontractor. Let's proceed as planned. Thank you. However, to manufacture this product, we need to use patented technology. To proceed as planned, we need a signature by 8:00 p.m. on the 30th. The 30th? Just 3 days away. A signature, mine should be fine, right? Should I write, Edward? Just kidding, need the company sticker too. Impossible at this hour. We'll do it another day. Please, I urge you to take care of it. Don't get so high and mighty as a subcontractor. Didn't you learn that in college? I wouldn't know. I didn't go to college. What bottom of the barrel? That's why you could take such an attitude. Just so you know, there are no bottom of the barrel employees at Redfield Motors. That's why you could only get into a subcontractor. After this was over, I seriously thought about asking for a change in assignment. I've been calling daily for the documents since then, but today I was told I was busy yesterday, so come tomorrow. When I visited the next day, I was informed Samuel is off today. Suddenly, it was the last day, the 30th. He's not at his desk right now. Can't you get a hold of Samuel? It's urgent. Please, wait a moment. I was genuinely panicking. It was just before 7:00 p.m. Here's a call from Samuel. Are the documents ready? What's up? I'm meeting right now just ordered. So I'll be back in 2 hours. Come then. I'm going out of my way to return after dinner for a subcontractor, but the deadline is in an hour. Extended. I was off yesterday, so it's additional time. Maybe stoppage time is easier for you to understand. Bottom of the barrel guy. That's not how it works. I'm meeting right now, so wait till tonight. Bottom of the barrel guy. Really? Is that okay? I didn't receive the documents from Redfield Motors. Yes, I understand. I'll do as instructed. It was my lack of ability. I apologize. Thank you for saying that. I'll head back to the office now. At 8:10 p.m. on the 30th, I contacted Peter, who was waiting at the company. It seems President Randy was there too. When I returned to the office, Peter and President Randy approached me. Let's wrap this up once and for all. I sent an email to Samuel. After that, I was busy drafting messages to various parties about the conclusion of the project and expressing our gratitude for their efforts. Frankly, thinking about the next day was depressing. How many places would I have to go around for an apology? Philip Metalworks, who had just informed us they were increasing staff to set up production, had just helped us with the sample. At 9:00 p.m., as I was preparing to leave, a phone call rang out. What's this about? It's a $70 million deal. Such a big project rarely comes to a subcontractor. Come right now. The documents are ready. You can fudge the time a bit. Thank you for the call. Please don't ask for the impossible. We can't manipulate the time. I'll be taking the documents you gave us to another place. Their deadline is 9:00 p.m. It's impossible now. Such a big project probably won't come to a small subcontractor like us again. However, we've decided to turn down this big project. It's an order from the president. I'm reflecting on the fact that it wasn't a project for someone with only a high school diploma like me to handle. What do you mean by canceling the contract now? I'll sue you. How am I supposed to explain this to the main contractor? This involves cutting-edge technology. It could even lead to a leak of secrets. We hadn't signed the main contract yet. We didn't receive the documents from you. Maybe you could tell the main contractor that you couldn't contract with the subcontractor because you were lying, but I doubt they'll treat you seriously. As for the leak of cutting-edge technology secrets, the confidentiality of information received from your company in relation to the sample production is assured, as written in the sample production contract. So don't worry. Damn it, a mere subcontractor. In yesterday's internal meeting, Peter and President Thompson told me this. There's been no good news from Redfield Motors lately. We've heard from various sources that a guy named Samuel is trouble. It matches the reports we've heard from Franklin, our assigned reporter. If the documents don't arrive in time, we decided to cancel the contract. But canceling a $70 million contract is a big deal for our company too. Yes, it's a big deal for our company. That's why we prioritized minimizing damage over profit. I'm coming over there now. Wait for me. The call was abruptly cut off. Even now, his tone was condescending. The call was on speaker, so Peter, President Randy, and many others who were still there heard it. Let's see what face he shows up with. Shall we wait? Then, we can go out for dinner afterward. Peter, President Thompson, and I waited in the conference room. It was Samuel and President Redfield who showed up. We've heard from our manager, Samuel. We're truly sorry. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly did Samuel tell President Redfield? He said the contract couldn't be completed due to traffic jams, and the paperwork couldn't be handed over. I played the loud call on my phone to President Redfield. Ever since a previous incident with a business partner, I started recording all calls. What's this, Samuel? I'm eating right now. That's different from what you said. I get caught in traffic after eating and returning to the office. I thought something was off. I couldn't understand why Randy Manufacturing would cancel the contract, but now it makes sense. By the way, do you have any more recordings of Samuel's words? If you do, I'd like to hear them. I mercilessly played them for him. A guy and so young, our company being underestimated by a subcontractor. What did the old man ask you for? Show me. Explain quickly. As a subcontractor daring to chase a main contractor. That's enough. Thank you. Quite a friendly conversation. Oh, I've always told you, Randy Manufacturing is a partner company. What's this subcontractor talk about? I said you could do as you liked, but I also told you about the responsibilities that come with it. We'll remove him from this project. Would you be willing to accept requests from us instead? Considering the numerous actions, statements, and attitudes of the manager, it's clear that Samuel's lack of management also significantly involves President Redfield. The $70 million project is huge for us as well. However, the damages we've suffered so far are immeasurable. After comprehensive consideration, we've decided to withdraw from all future dealings with Redfield Motors. That is all from us. What, just because I made a small mistake, you're pulling out of all future deals? Don't we mean anything to you after all we've done? That's not the case, Samuel Miller. We've personally and professionally endured humiliation because of you. How do you know that name? The engineer who accompanied me with the sample last time was from Philip Metal Works, a part of our group company. That's irrelevant now. Samuel was originally a worker at Philip Metal Works. He was handsome and excellent in conversations with women, spending nights with different women each day. One day, he met President Redfield's daughter and learned about an unplanned pregnancy. Samuel was preparing to leave the town, but the woman was delayed in leaving her home, and it led to him being forcibly taken to the Redfield residence. Upon arriving, Samuel was surprised to find himself in a luxurious house. He understood then that a subcontractor's employee had become a candidate for the president of a main contractor. Ah, a real rags to riches story. After the wedding, he was living in a big house with a luxury foreign car. Samuel seemed to be on top of the world. His first job title was suddenly a department head, and in the next year, he became a division manager. This information came from a Philip Metal Works engineer and Alexander from Redfield Motors. By any chance, Samuel, did you also drop out of high school? Or rather, are you a high school dropout? Are you what you call the bottom? Why would you think I'm a high school dropout? You know Jack, right? I was his junior in the club. He really pushed us hard. You graduated from Midwestern High, yes? Samuel, me, and even my father, we all graduated from Midwestern High. That's a prestigious school known for its academic excellence. I was top of my class until middle school. Once I got to high school, I was surrounded by geniuses, couldn't keep up with the classes, and lost all motivation. I'm a high school dropout. So what? I'm the bottom. Well, being a dropout doesn't matter when you're an adult. We will be stopping all dealings with Redfield Motors and will be filing for unpaid dues and damages. We'll be taking legal action. Thank you. What does this mean? A subcontractor suing the main contractor. Samuel, it seems you've been treating others similarly elsewhere. Unpaid dues. Arrogant behavior. Your last resort is always, I'll stop dealing with your company. Right now, you know how that feels as a subcontractor. It's none of my concern. I'll get someone else to make it. Please do so, if you can. Thank you. Understood. I'll take this as an expensive lesson. Damn it, I'll find someone to make it for me. Samuel was grabbed by the scruff of his neck by President Redfield, who then left. Samuel found a company overseas willing to manufacture for half the price we quoted, and he called our office the other day to brag. Serves you right. I managed to deliver on time and was relieved. I should have gone with them from the start. A few weeks later, a recall occurred at Redfield Motors' client location. Apparently, the cause was defective parts supplied by Redfield Motors. The client demanded a substantial amount in damages. Samuel had the parts made by an overseas company using the design we provided for the main contractor. However, the design was for the sample, and it required further improvements in over 100 areas to become the final product. Samuel was fired for taking full responsibility for this fiasco. He also got divorced and was kicked out of his house. He was burdened with hefty alimony and child support payments. I heard rumors of Samuel struggling at a construction site, but unfortunately, I couldn't verify them. Redfield Motors was sued for a significant amount by the main contractor for leaking even the sample design. Additionally, the overseas company used it as a base for their own product, making a few modifications, and released it as a hit product. Years later, rumors of Redfield Motors potentially going public were quashed, and they seemed on the brink of collapse. We couldn't work with Redfield Motors anymore, but we received inquiries from 3 of the world's largest auto parts companies. Prior to the recall incident involving Redfield Motors, we had not engaged with them. However, the incident effectively broadcasted the quality of the sample we had developed on a global scale. This led to numerous remote discussions and performance evaluations at various locations. Subsequently, trade discussions took place in the U.S., culminating in a mutual agreement valued at over $70 million. My younger siblings both completed their college education, with my sister securing a position in a government office and my brother joining a securities firm. Their education at public high schools and national universities significantly eased my financial responsibilities. During this period, I invited Nicole, who is 5 years my senior and was single at the time, out for dinner to celebrate closing a deal. I playfully suggested going to a movie over the weekend. Sure, it's been a while since someone asked me out on a date, she responded. Our relationship remained a secret from our coworkers and superiors until we got married after a year of dating. Despite the teasing about Nicole staying in her job and me becoming a stay-at-home husband, it turned out our colleagues had been aware of our relationship for some time, but chose to act oblivious. My siblings insisted on covering the wedding expenses, which allowed us to enjoy our honeymoon. You did mention it's about dealing with a client who taught you the essence of sales, but you've learned a lot, right? I recounted the day's events to Nicole, now my wife, as we relaxed in bed. The situation was regrettable for Samuel's wife and child following the divorce. According to Alexander, Samuel had no affinity for children and had never embraced his own child, leading to a lack of attachment from the child's side. His ongoing affairs, coupled with other issues, culminated in the divorce, with the workplace error being the final trigger. What about you, Edward? Any affairs? Me? I doubt I'm attractive enough for that. Besides, I'm more concerned about you, Nicole, given your beauty and professional demeanor. having become a supervisor in charge of 5 employees, I pondered, is this also thanks to your wife's support? Despite the continuous teasing, I wasn't bothered.